everybody, today I'm going to do something a little bit more grungy because you guys know that's my favourite kind of makeup, and I feel like I've been doing quite a lot of like more polished, glamorous looks recently. I want to hop back into my comfort zone for a second. Today's tutorial is going to be of the gorgeous Drew Barrymore, who I've loved for years. I think she's stunning, and I would describe her look as girl next door grunge. Like, she's a little bit grungy, smudgy, kind of effortless, but it doesn't look like too much. That's the look I'm going to do today, and I hope you enjoy. So in order to get the glowy, light, natural looking skin she always has, I'm going to use a light to medium foundation. This is MAC Face and Body, and I'm going to buff it in with a Real Techniques Expert Face brush. Once your base is on, you want to move on to your eyebrows. Now, Drew's eyebrows, first name terms. Now, Drew Barrymore's eyebrows are not statementy, so do your eyebrows how you would normally do them. I'm just gonna do mine a little bit lighter than usual, but I'm just gonna do my regular brow routine, and then I'll come back because you guys have seen me do my brows a million times, and I have a whole tutorial on it if you want to see it. I've gone a little bit softer on my eyebrows than usual. You guys probably can't tell, but they're a lot thinner than I normally do them because Drew's are quite fine and chilled. Right, let's zoom in and get some eye makeup on. The act of zooming in, just sitting slightly closer to the camera. So I'm working from a few inspiration photos and mishing them all together into like an inspired look rather than following one look. Now this is when I would normally prime, but I'm not going to prime because the whole point of grungy makeup is it's supposed to look worn, it's supposed to look a bit messy. Natural creasing actually really adds to the look, so I'm gonna let my eyeshadows crease throughout the day and look more worn, but if you'd like it to look a little bit more perfect and to stay on, then prime away. Do what you gotta do. So the first shade I'm going to take is actually the bronzer I've been using on my face recently. This is the Bobbi Brown bronzer in the shade 1 Natural, and I'm going to give this a wash all over my lid, really high up and really low down. I'll show you now. Now the reason I've chosen this bronzer, and the reason why I've chosen bronzer, is because quite often Drew does quite tonal looks where her cheeks and her eyes kind of are quite samey. So I like this bronzer because it's really red toned, and I'm also going to be using it on my cheeks, so it will just tie the look together a little bit. I'm now going to take my darker shade. I'm going to take Sable from the Lorac Pro palette, and this is a dark red toned brown. And I'm going to buff this over the lid. One of the looks I'm looking at has a really nice shimmer to the lid, so I'm going to apply some of a Barium Dazzle Dust over the lid. Now the name has come off, but it's the taupe with the gold shimmer in it. Any like shimmery gold, because it just kind of comes off as a sheer wash of glitter. So I'm just going to take this and pop it over the lid. The next thing I'm going to do is optional, you don't have to do this, but I'm going to mix a black gel liner and the Maybelline Colour Tattoo in Metallic Pomegranate together and line my waterline. Now you don't have to mix these two together, you could just use a brown, or you could just use a black, or you could just use this on its own, but I'm going to make mine a little bit darker and a little bit smokier by mixing a bit of black in. take a little bit of that colour again and pop that onto my top lash line and kind of line my upper lash line with it. Now you're going to want to put on a lot of mascara. This is the Miss Manga mascara from L'Oreal, but it's the spiky one. What's it called? Punky. You're now just going to want to conceal anything that needs concealing. We're not aiming to make our skin look flawless and perfect. I mean, if you'd like to, you can. But her skin always, you know, she has a little bit of redness showing through. It's not completely matte, it's just, you know, it's natural, it's fresh. So I am going to conceal underneath my eye. I'm just going to highlight underneath where we've put the eyeshadow so that it looks intentional rather than like you haven't slept in 400 years. I'm now going to use a really small amount of loose powder. I'm going to use the Cargo HD loose powder, which I'm loving, loving, loving at the moment. And I'm just going to set a little bit underneath my eyes and a little bit around my nose just to stop any really bad shine, but not a lot. Now Drew Barrymore doesn't wear a lot on her cheek, a tiny touch of bronzer just to give her cheeks a little bit of definition, but barely anything. So I'm going to go back to the bronzer I was talking about earlier. My Bobbi Brown natural bronzer, and I'm barely going to use any, but just add a little tiny bit of colour and shape to the back of my cheekbones. To keep up with the fresh face, natural, dewy look, I'm going to add a little bit of Her Blooming Cheek from MAC, which looks like not a natural colour at all. But I'm going to take a little bit on my brush, take it off with the back of my hand, and then apply it. And this will just give me a light wash of colour without looking like anything crazy. Now her lip colour is quite tricky in the picture that I'm looking for. She goes for loads of different lips. She goes for like just a plain balm, she goes for a nude, she goes for a bright red. I found like a dark browny red. So I'm going to line my lips with the Max Factor Colour Elixir liner in brown and bold, and then I'm going to mix a bit of Soar lip pencil from MAC in, and then I'm going to put Hearts Are Beating from MAC on top. So here we have my Drew Barrymore inspired grunge makeup. Some of you guys might want to change the lip, go for a more kind of conventional like nude or whatever you fancy, but I really like the kind of tonal like matchiness of it. I really like it. I hope you guys liked this as well. If you did, then make sure you give it a thumbs up to let me know, or itchy nose. Leave it in a comment down below and I'll have a read and see what you think. If you want to contact me at all, then my social media sites are linked down below as always, as is my email address. And subscribe if you haven't already. Come join, come join. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!